Hello everybody, welcome to My Hero Academia Chapter 316 review. This video is titled Your Turn. Now in the last chapter, we got an explanation of Deku's new quirk from the third user called Fajin, and Deku used that power and made a centrifugal force like All Might and used So 100%. He also used Alpha Manchester Smash to then take down Lady Nagant, busting up a rifle barrel, and while also saving Chisiki in the process. And then made a declaration that Nagant is still a hero inside. And then she exploded because All For One put a quirk into her. And then Hawk shows up at the end to swoop her and catch her out of the sky. She's getting ready to splat on the ground. And so I'm just gonna hop in this chapter now, and we start off with Endeavor coming in screaming, "We just got word from All Might. Sorry we're late. Rain and I don't get along so well," making a little joke about him being fire. And he says, "Stashport, any other enemies besides Nagant?" And Hawks goes, "Endeavor, I should have known. I'm not up for flying just yet," as he falls to the ground because his wings weren't that strong after being burnt off into war by Dabe. Endeavor's son, by the way. Yeah, it was a pretty fun chapter. Dancing in hell and all of that. Yeah. And then, Deku goes down and sends, sends Black Whip down and catches Hawks. And then he's like, "Oh crap, I ain't got any power left either. Oh boy." And, yeah, Deku then yells, "Hawks, based on the time of the explosion, I don't think she caused it on her own. All For One gave her an extra quirk to use. Must have booby-trapped her body," as we see Nagant with, like, cracks down her face, sort of like Dr. Stone. And every other series, like MASH will also, because it's cool to have cracks down your face now. Or markings or whatever. And then Hawks yells at Nagant and says, "Hey, I'm Hawks, your replacement. All For One must have sweet-talked you into this, but I know you're better than this. And now you fought that kid, I bet you've realized that it's too early for us to throw in a towel. So please, tell us what you know. Leave us with some hope to hold on to. He used you, but don't let it end with that. You're a hero. You are Lady Nagant." And Nagant is barely able to see, and with a blurry vision goes, "My replacement? The Safety Commission, huh? I bet like me you've done horrible things, all while following orders. So then, how do you still have that glimmer in your eye? This road only leads to chaos. The way forward is shrouded in darkness. So how? How are you people still so?" And we see like her looking out her old window and just looking out, having a good life. And then she says, "Within 2 months, I was supposed to bring the target to a mansion in Habori Woods. And then Deku's Black Whip gives out, but they're close enough to the ground that they're alright." And then Nagant then says, "Not just me. He reached out to some others." And then she says, "Tell me, Mr. Replacement, my soul couldn't take it anymore. So how do you still have that look in her eye?" And then she says, and he says, "I wasn't alone in this. And what can I say? I'm optimistic to a fault." And then, Endeavor flies down with Chisiki and he says, "Deku, there's no one else besides him, right?" And Chisiki's like, No, this wasn't the deal. You weren't supposed to get caught. Take me to the boss. He's all I got left." And Deku sort of just looking over with scars all over his face, and Chisiki's still yelling, "I gotta tell him I'm sorry." And Deku looks over and he says, "Chisiki." And Chisiki yells out, "Shut up, you see maggot, I'm talking to her." And he says, "Do you remember everything you did to Eri?" And Chisiki's like, "Eri, of course, with Eri, I could." And Deku then looks with some soulless looking eyes, I have to say, and says, "You want to say sorry, do you?" And then he also continues, "If you're willing to direct that same energy toward Eri, I'll honor your deal in Lady Nagant's face." And then All Might pulls up into Hercules, throwing opening door and yelling, "Kid, are you okay?" So the car's not gone. It's still alive. From the best named chapter in the series, High Speed Long Range Mobile Cannon. Check out my 314 review if you haven't already. Then Endeavor yells, "Lady Nagan and Kai Chisiki are in custody. Get word this to the cops. We need medical care and aid for this one." And Hawks looks over, and Nagan's sort of smiling, it's sort of flashing back, and Deku can see a smile that Nagan had on her face in the previous chapter. And while Hawks is yelling, "Midoriya's been badly helped. He needs hope too." And then he thinks, "All for One." Because All for One did that to her. And then they're at the cabin in Harbori Woods. It's obviously been some time because Hawks looks like he has his wings back on good, and Deku looks like he's had some good time. He also has a Gran Torino cape back on, so that wasn't completely sacrificed in the fight. So Hawks says, "Good luck in there, everyone." Gina says, "Be cautious," and then Endeavor says, "Hang on, Deku, don't be reckless." And then they go into the Harbori Woods mansion, and you can also see the Edgeshot, Kamui Woods, and Mount Lady are also there. And we see that this mansion is also the one formerly hideout of the Creature Rejection Clan, which was the group that was after Spinner and the whole flashback thing. I think it was in volume 24. If it wasn't, it was in volume 25. But that's the mansion from there. So it's sort of neat little detail. Sort of like how the All for One room inside of Deku's mind is the room that Yoichi Shigaraki was in. He's a original wielder of One for All, the one who was created, All for One's little brother. And so they are going into the woods, and Deku thinks, "All for One and Shigaraki still aren't capable of stealing One for All from me." He walks in, opens the door, and there's nothing in there. And then there's a monitor that comes up, and All for One is standing there, hooked up to his mask, in a suit, clapping. And he says, "Did you enjoy your Q&A session with Lady Nagant? Well, Izuku Midoriya, because if you're seeing this message, that must have been what happened." And then Endeavor says, "This place is deserted, I should have known it." And All for One continues saying, "I see. I love predicting and reading people, and a boy like you can never outright abandon someone like her, yes? I didn't force her, you know. She acted of her own free will. But those poor souls who stumble on the road of life are labeled villains. People go on and on about Quirks, preaching the merits of individualism. But ours is regimented is a regimented society under tight control, where the wrong sort of individuality gets you ostracized and purged. Democracy, socialism, it doesn't matter. There are no exceptions, because the root of all this predates the concept of human society altogether. It's the principle that governs all social organisms. The path you've chosen is the only one. Every battle grinds away your soul with no end in sight. Can you guess who was on my mind the entire time I was in jail? It was you. All that no longer interests me. I moved on from that greatless oaf. Now it's your turn." And he blows up the mansion. And also, that's the end of the chapter. So, my thoughts on this chapter. I like the first half of it a lot. I like the stuff where Hawks goes and says, "And what can I say? I'm optimistic to a fault." That is a great line. And then Deku sort of thing to Chisiki saying, "Do you remember what you did to Eri? If you direct the same thing you're going to the boss, to her, yeah, you'll see the boss again." And then the mansion thing, I just find comedic. I mean, I just find it hysterical to think about. With All for One. And that's how I imagine All for One speaks. It's in just like this cadence that's super disturbing, going, "Oh, I didn't force you, no, she acted on her all free will. But those poor souls who stumble into life are labeled villains." And I just find it funny. And then the mansion exploding at the end is just an added extra thing to it. And also another cool point in there that I like is how he's like, I like to read people, and pretty much like how he knew, like, Nagant will target you on a rainy day, I'll give her this extra quirk, and in this quirk will be the self-destruct quirk, or explosion quirk, whatever you want to call it. So yeah. I like this chapter, it was pretty good. The ending I'm not so hyped on, but yeah, it was an alright chapter. And that's really all I've got to say on it. Sorry for these videos coming out really late. I'm going to try to work on that. So, hope you enjoyed this review. And this is Glowplasma231.